Hi there, good morning. Sarah here, visionary and lead strategist with Liberated Badass. So, I've been thinking about you. I'm reading the book Untamed, and it's helping me get so much more clear with myself, with my message, and what I feel most led to bring to you, to the world, and what my purpose is. And so I've been thinking a lot about some of the deep pieces, the deep pain points of what the folks that I am most gifted to work with, what they're dealing with, what their pain points are. And so I thought I would talk for just a minute about what some of those are and see how that helps you. So I think part of getting stuck and feeling miserable, secretly miserable, and feeling so unclear and confused is that we're not really sure what's going on. When it's happening, it feels so uncertain and so unclear, and you're looking around in your life and you're like, I should be happy. I should feel really good about this life. Like I have the things that everybody is working really hard to get. And so you feel this level of guilt and this level of shame and disappointment and frustration with yourself, which of course only fuels your upset and your anger and your confusion. And it's a vicious cycle ultimately. And it is part of the cycle is what keeps you stuck. It is the thing that keeps us stuck in the place that we're at. So I think the more we talk about what the symptoms are, it helps to get more clear with with your reality. So I know for me, growing up, it's important. I feel like sitting outside, house sitting for a friend, looking out over the ocean. I get a lot of really great thinking done when I'm sitting out over the water. So for me growing up, it was always part of my role in the family and part of my way of being okay in the world was to be good. And it was a path that I carved out for myself, and that other people, my parents and my family and relatives and church honored and recognized and gave me positive feedback for, lots of it. And my grandmother actually used to use it in a way to attempt to motivate my sister, but ultimately it ended up dividing my sister and I more. And it deeply hurt my sister to be constantly compared to me. And as a child, you know, that I got good grades, that I worked really hard, that I was a super hard worker, that I ate whatever type of food, you know, that's always like a huge thing, right? Growing up as a child, parents really want their kids to eat well, eat healthy, eat whatever they get put in front of them. And kids like me. And I ate everything. I ate vegetables, steak, meat, whatever. And then my sister didn't. My sister only had like 4 or 5 things that she would eat. And so my grandmother would use that also. Just lots of comparisons. And so it was that responsibility of being good and following the rules and doing what people told me to do. And being good in school and being good at church and adhering and being obedient. You know, growing up in the church, that's the whole philosophy that you're being taught in church, is to be obedient, to be faithful, to commit yourself to God and to the serving of others. And part of what gets lost for whatever upbringing you had when you're trained and cultivated to be a good child, part of what happens is you're taking on expectations of other people, and you're choosing their expectations over your own wants, needs, desires. And what ends up happening with your own wants, needs, and desires is they get stuffed. They get pushed down. And over years, they get pushed down so much that you don't even know they're still there. And the thing is they don't go away. They're still there. You've now replaced them with other people's expectations of you, and other people's telling you of who you should be and how you should think and what you should value and what you should believe. And so those crowd out your own true self and your own true desires, wants, needs, values, beliefs, your own true feelings. And the thing about those is they can't ever go away, because they literally are a part of who you are physically, mentally, spiritually. And so they find ways to still come out. They find ways to be heard. And they come out in ways like anxiety, feeling anxious, feeling uncertain, feeling this undercurrent of confusion and self-doubt. And there's this constant need to know that you're okay. And so for me, that oftentimes came out in my seeking consultation with others. I'm a super connector, and part of my connection with others is running my life by them, updating what's going on in my life, and without even realizing it, that I was looking for their feedback. Again, none of this was done intentionally or purposefully, so it wasn't even outright, but it's something I've learned over time of really digging in deep and doing serious research on all of this, to be able to now see that what I was doing was looking for them to give me this permission and approval, validation of my life, and that I was doing the right things, and that I was fulfilling my role as the good and obedient person, woman, daughter, that I had been conditioned and cultivated to be from an early age, the role that I chose, the path for myself, and then reinforced by others. So if you have some of those same symptoms, or if you can relate to my experience of falling into the good role right now, it comes out through anxiety. I would also say it comes out for people who are having those symptoms and you use alcohol or drugs or sex, shopping, spending money to help you manage that undercurrent of discomfort that's going on, that level of anxiety that I would often call it a restlessness, that there was just like this restlessness within me that I could not manage, I could not quiet, I couldn't find the stillness. And so I know having a couple of drinks takes the edge off, and it would help to take that restless feeling away for a short time. Going to the mall and spending I know these things now to be part of my managing of the restless. None of it was done, I don't want to portray myself inaccurately, but none of it was done in overwhelming excess. The thing that I would have moments of going to the mall, 2-3 times a year, and I would get such relief from doing like a really big shop. And I needed the clothes, right? I mean, I'm a pretty conservative, minimalist, simple person. That's also part of my upbringing and training to be super wise with my money, which is part of what leads us into that fulfilled my good role of being super responsible with my money. So considering the bigger picture, the thing that I did in great excess for me personally came out in overworking and spending hours and hours in my work and really giving my 100% in my work. Now, I also came from a family of helpers and people who were wanting to do good in the world and give back, and huge focus growing up in the church on serving others and serving others who are poor or have less than we did. So I was also trained in that way, right? And part of our training, it simply comes that which we are seeing and that which we're experiencing is what we learn for ourselves. And so then, of course, we choose in our internal selves how we're going to respond to it. And I fell quite in line with that line of work and way of dealing with my restless, and poured myself into helping others and crafting a career and a lifestyle around helping others. And it has been like a lot of awareness and research to figure out that is what I've been doing. And I would say the other key symptom that I have known is this sense of doing, that if I'm not in my doing, right, if I'm not busy, if I'm not doing something, then I have this sense of restlessness, and which makes relaxation and makes relaxing and having fun a task for me. And it has taken some very serious inner work to get more comfortable with having fun and relaxing as truly important as part of being a good, healthy human being. And that came around definitely from my upbringing and watching my parents do it. My parents are also human doings, where they're even now. My mom just the other day was saying, man, I wish I could take a day off. And when I hear that now from her, I heard it for years and years and years, and she would tell me all these wonderful things she wanted to do, and she was going to do them later when she retired. And I do find myself getting triggered when I hear her say that, because she's now retired and nearing 75, and the reality is they have worked so hard and been so super responsible and done so much good. You know, she could 100% take a day off and do whatever she wanted to. She could take weeks off and do whatever she wanted to. But there's still that inner part of her that has a hard time with rest and relaxation and fun as being true, essential, and totally fine, good things to do. But she has a beautiful life and is continuing to give back and be a super helper. So I hope this helps you get more clear about your reality and what's going on for you, and how you can recognize what's going on inside of you. So if you're connecting to these symptoms, these signs, these behaviors in yourself, please tune in for more information from me, so that you can get liberated from that lifestyle, from that doing good lifestyle, being good, and truly find yourself, your sense of self, and your true belonging on the planet. Because the more we feel in our being, in our essence, that we belong and we know who we are, the more fun we are. And the more fun and at rest in our beings we are, the more our children will be blessed beyond measure. In our restlessness, we pass on restlessness and anxiety. And that is a fact. That is a fact. When we do not feel like we truly are being our truest selves, we're not doing what we truly want, we don't even know what we want, we pass that on to our children, we pass that on in road rage, we pass that on in our families, in our workplace, in our living space, we pass it on everywhere, to the grocery checkout person. So the more we get settled in our beings, the more we will be able to effectively contribute to harmony in the world. But when we are filled with restlessness and anxiety, which also comes out in quiet anger, we are contributing to the world's unrest. All right, know that you are well loved and that you have a life ahead of you of rest and still in your being available. Reach out, I'd love to talk with you. All right, in the meantime, go do that thing you most want to be doing, and I'll talk to you soon.